Something I feel like we don't talk about enough in the fitness community is that going to the gym becomes a part of your identity. When people first start going to the gym, a lot of the times they say that they struggle with motivation. Regular gym goers are like, how could you possibly struggle with motivation? Like, I go to the gym every day. They don't realize how much going to the gym becomes an integral part of their identity. I have a bunch of notes here today, and I kind of want to go over with you guys how the gym can become a part of your identity and also break down the concept of identity so that you don't beat yourself up when you don't have the motivation or even the discipline to go to the gym starting out. And hopefully it will make you feel a little better about the fact that those times are coming, and eventually you will be like every other gym goer who literally can't not go to the gym. Number one, we're going to break down what identity is. Basically, your identity is what you believe is most true about you. Everyone does have their own sense of self, their own sense of identity that they work within, but not everyone's identities are the same, obviously. A lot of it is also built up over things that we've experienced in the past and things that we currently believe about ourselves. You may tell yourself on a day-to-day basis without even realizing it, I'm a lazy person. I'm not a disciplined person. I'm not the type of person who goes to the gym. I'm not the type of person who eats healthy. I was raised in a household that eats junk food, those kind of things. They all become your identity as well. Identity is also formed through repeated evidence, which means that things that you experience every day start to shape how you view yourself. As you go throughout your life, not going to the gym, not exercising, especially if you're the type of person who maybe didn't do sports in school, you do start to believe that that's part of who you are. Whereas people who have worked out their entire lives, or even people who started working out but have been working out now for a couple of years, even if they didn't do sports in school, those people will start to see themselves as the type of person who works out. But because of this, a lot of beginners, especially if you're new to exercise as a whole, just like I was when I started going to the gym, is that these fitness behaviors that we're currently practicing don't fit into who we believe that we are. You will experience friction if you see yourself as being a very busy person or a person who doesn't have time for the gym and then trying to go to the gym. Instead of this friction being something that we can identify as a friction against who we are in our identity, we start to see it as a lack of motivation or a lack of discipline instead, and we beat ourselves up over it. But the good thing about this is that motivation is an emotional state, which means that it's never going to last even if you do have motivation, which you may have experienced if you've tried to go to the gym before and you've gone for a couple weeks and then haven't been able to keep it up. Whereas identity is something fixed and it's a sense of self. We can work on it over time and start to prove to ourselves that we are a different person than we originally thought, and that will stick. Let's talk a little bit more about motivation now, because I want everyone to get out of the mindset that motivation is the way that you get yourself to the gym. Motivation, like I said, is an emotional state, which means that it's dependent on a whole bunch of factors. That means we can't rely on it in order to get to the gym. Whereas people who go to the gym, like me, 4 or 5 days a week, don't actually experience motivation. I don't wake up in the morning thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go to the gym. I just go to the gym. That's not because I'm better than you. It's not because I'm a different person than you, but it's because I have got up and gone to the gym for 6, almost 7 years now. It's what I do, and it actually feels very weird for me not to do that. Not because I'm a different type of person than you, but because I've built up that repetitive motion over so many years that it has become a part of my identity. A really great comparison that we can work with here is brushing our teeth. If you think about it, you don't necessarily, you're not going to experience the next day after not brushing your teeth that you're a completely different person or anything like that. But at the same time, it would feel incredibly weird to go to bed not brushing your teeth. And that's because you have built an identity around being the type of person who brushes their teeth every morning and every night. There are people out there who don't brush their teeth. My dentist shows them to me every time I go for a teeth cleaning. They exist, but that seems totally outlandish to you. The same thing is completely true for fitness. All right, so now let's dive a little bit deeper into how you can change your identity or your sense of self. Number one, we want to talk about the fact that action creates evidence. Evidence then reinforces identity, and then identity drives future action. What that means is you have to act first in order to create evidence for your brain about the new type of person that you are trying to become. Then, with this evidence, you will slowly start to change your identity. And then finally, once your identity becomes person who goes to the gym, you will continue to go to the gym. Our brains love patterns, which means that the more often that we do something regularly, the more likely we are to continue to do things regularly. You can think about any bad habit that you might have, whether it's, nibbling on your fingers when you're stressed or not cleaning the kitchen when you're tired at the end of the day. All of these habits become routines and they're things that we practice. But we also have plenty of positive ones. Maybe you're the type of person who has a huge glass of water when you wake up in the morning and now you feel parched without it. Or maybe you're the type of person who does have a protein shake before you go to bed and it feels weird to go to bed not having that protein shake. Maybe you always have dessert after dinner and it feels weird to not have dessert after dinner. All of those things become routines that we regularly practice until it feels weird not to do them. We can do that with healthy eating, with going to the gym, with doing our cardio, with whatever goal you have. It can become part of your routine to the point that it actually feels weird not to do it. Some more practical things that we can do in order to change our identity as a person. Number one, change the language that you speak about yourself with, especially if you're not a gym goer right now and maybe you have some friends who are gym goers that you're trying to explain why you don't go to the gym and you say, oh, I'm just not a fitness person, or I have a very busy schedule, or I'm just naturally sleepy. Every time that you say these things about yourself to someone else, or even to yourself when you're justifying why you're not going to the gym, is building your identity. By reframing the way that you talk about yourself, instead of saying things like, oh, I'm trying to go to the gym, to saying, I train 3 days a week, what we're doing in this moment is just slightly reframing the way that we think about the gym. Saying, I'm trying to work out is passive. It's saying maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Saying I trained 3 days a week is putting it into your mind that you're already going to do those things. When you talk about yourself as a person who is already proficient in the thing that you're trying to learn, you build that confidence, and that confidence helps you continue to act. A second tip is that we can actually shrink down the behavior that we're trying to replicate day over day into really small steps so that we can stack up the wins. What this means is maybe you're not going to start going to the gym 6 days a week straight away, which by the way, I wouldn't recommend. And instead, start with showing up to the gym just 2 or 3 days a week and doing one exercise. And that's pretty freaking easy. I think you can do that. Even if you're struggling with confidence, even if you're feeling insecure, even if you're feeling unmotivated. If you say, I'm going to show up and I'm going to pick up the dumbbells today, and then I can go home, and you repeat that over a couple weeks, eventually, well, I already drove here, I already paid for parking, or I already paid for the gas to get here, or the bus ticket to get here, I might as well do 2 exercises. When you start compounding those wins slowly, you start shaping your identity, but in a speed that you can actually process. A lot of people also fall off because they try to do too much all at once. It feels really good for the first week to totally get your life in check. You're waking up at 6 a.m., you're going to the gym, you're eating your protein, you're only eating vegetables and rice as your carb. You're going to fall off because that's really unsustainable to change everything all at once. But when you slowly start reshaping the type of person that you are, the type of person who goes to the gym before they go to work, or the type of person who goes to the gym after they go to work, even if you're just doing one small, tiny action, you're stacking up those wins so that you slowly start to become that person. On top of this too, it does really help to standardize your schedule. And this is something that I did, especially when I first started working out. I always stack my gym sessions onto my full-time job. So when I clock out at 4 p.m., I drive right to the gym. And I bring my gym stuff with me to work every single day. And what I find helps about this is that routine is really hard to break. It would feel super foreign and like very, very weird for me to leave work and go home. I don't think I've ever done that since I got this job because I have always gone to work and then gone to the gym. I don't think I even know the route from my office to my house. It is only to the gym and then to my house. By building these routines, it's really easy to stick with them. Whereas if you're always saying, okay, I'm going to go home after work and then maybe I'll have a quick meal and then see if I feel like going to the gym, you're way less likely to go. Honestly, even at this point, like 6 years into my gym journey, I think if I went home, I would probably just sit down on the couch. So it's nice to just go from work right to the gym. There are some other things you can do in the morning or even the night before to confirm that you're actually going to make it, especially while you're building up your identity and building up these routines. Number one is picking your gym outfit the night before. This is really simple, but I always just lay it out or put it in the bag that I'm going to be bringing with me. And number two is planning your whole day around it. I actually really like putting it directly into my calendar so that when one of my friends reaches out to me and says like, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? I already see when I'm looking at my calendar, am I free? Well, I actually have the gym from 4 to 6. It's okay to skip the gym to hang out with your friends every once in a while, but just having that visual reminder, you may be more likely to just say, okay, well, can we meet up at 6 p.m. instead? Because if you're only going to be hanging out for 2 hours, whether it's 4 to 6 or 6 to 8, doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but you're probably more likely to forget, especially when you're early in your gym journey, that you had planned to go to the gym. So putting that regular reminder into your calendar is definitely valuable. You can also set some rules for yourself to set yourself up for success that don't include, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week straight away. So instead you might say, I'm not the type of person to miss 2 workouts in a row. Or I'm the type of person who shows up to the gym even if I don't finish my workout. These kind of things help set you up for success because you're slowly starting to build these habits without being a drill sergeant to yourself. Now, despite all of this conversation, I do want to remind you that this is not going to be super simple. It is very normal for identity changing behavior to take time and to feel relatively unmotivating at first and also a little foreign. Prepare yourself to get ready to just get involved in the journey and accept the highs and the lows as they come. There are some days where it's going to feel like a total slog to get yourself to the gym. There are going to be some days where you said you were going to put your gym outfit out the night before and you didn't. You need to learn to ride the highs and the lows and continue to learn and adapt. As you build this new identity as the type of person who is into fitness or the type of person who does work out, there are going to be some hiccups, and that's okay. What's important is that you speak to yourself kindly and that you keep using that positive, future-focused language. I am a person who goes to the gym. I am a person who works out 3 days a week. I'm the type of person who shows up to the gym even if I'm unmotivated. I'm the type of person who will at least try one exercise before I let myself go home. All of those things are going to be very, very important during this time, instead of saying I'm busy, I'm lazy, I'm tired. I hope that this video helped out a little bit, and I'm going to be doing a lot more identity-focused content in the future. I do believe that the person that you believe you are is the person that you show up as every single day, and how you live every single day ends up being how you live your life. So don't allow yourself to focus too much on the future. I'm going to do it next month. I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do it on Monday. Allow yourself to live in the present moment and start building your day-to-day that will create the life that you actually want. I'm LxwrenFitness, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thank you for sitting through it.